Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Tommy Wave Budget Deck series. Before we jump into things, as always, we'll go through our criteria for the Budget Deck series. We don't set any arbitrary dust limit on our decks. Instead, what we're going to focus on is giving you the core of a deck, of an archetype, preferably one that performs quite well on ladder, and give you the core of that and allow you to upgrade into a proper version of the deck. So it'll also let you learn how the deck plays, hopefully, give you an idea of the key cards in that deck, and how you can build upon that. The last point there, prioritizing cards that aren't rotating, that's not going to be so much of an issue for the current set, Witchwood, as most of these cards are going to be legal for a very long time, but it's always something that we want to stay conscious of, that we want our dust to last us quite a long time. So, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll have already seen that today we're doing Priest. Priest was one of the most fun decks to do last time around during Kobolds and Catacombs. We built a really fun deck. Now, a lot of cards from that have rotated. We lost a lot of the Dragon package and a lot of the really big reasons to be Priest. But recently I actually saw some decks that give me hope for the budget Priest. So we'll go through some of the well-performing decks, high-performing decks, you could say, in Priest. I've taken these off of HS replays. We have the Control Priest, also called Mind Blast Priest. The idea being that you have a lot of the fantastic controlling elements from Priest, combined with the late game power of Shadow Visions and Mind Blast. So you can use Shadow Visions to discover more Mind Blasts, and you hopefully at some point get 20 damage in your hand. Combined with Shadow Reaper Anduin, you can end the game quite quickly, or with Alexstrasza you only need the 3 Mind Blasts, or possibly 2 and some Anduin hero powers. But other than that, very tight. We got some board clears in here, 2 Psychic Screams, and the 2 Dusk Breakers. Lots of competing on board with things like Scaleworm, Twilight Acolyte, and Cabal Shadow Priest combined to form a formidable team. Formidable 2-headed giant. And then lots of other very typical priesty things. So that's the Mind Blast Priest, Control Priest. That was quite good before the nerfs, and still going strong afterwards. Also got the Quest Priest, so a lot of similarities between this and the Control Priest, except we're running the Awaken the Maker's quest, so we have to make some concessions to that, like including a bunch of Death Rattles. So we've got the Blood Mage Thalamus, Loot Hoarder, Plated Beetle, all the Crystalline Oracle, all these boys combined with Twilight's Call means you can finish the quest pretty reliably, and then hopefully you're going to Zol the Gorgon your Amara, so you have another copy of her, you can heal back to full, and you're going to fatigue your opponent out with Archbishop Benedictus, and these types of things. Interesting, they got the Mind Control in there. That's super sweet. But yeah, so that's Quest Priest, just another variation on, I guess, a controlling archetype. Competes on the board a bit better because it has all those Death Rattles on 2. Now, the reason that I wanted to do Priest today is because of this deck. I actually saw Sipiwi94 tweet out, I think someone retweeted it, they tweeted this deck out, that they got, let's see, it was... There we go. So it's just yesterday, top 10 on the EU ladder. Yeah, sorry. It's just reading their post there. So top 10 on EU Legend with this Combo Priest. And Combo has not been something we've seen be a large part of the meta, or any part of the meta, for the past couple of months. But it's back in POG form. So the whole idea of Combo Priest, or Inner Fire Priest, as it's also called, is we want to set up a any reasonable minion, so something like an Injured Blade Master or a Tar Creeper. We're then going to hit it with that Salt, that Divine Spirit, and we're going to hit it with the Pepper, the Inner Fire. So double its health, and then set its attack to be equal to its health. So on a Tar Creeper, 1 Divine Spirit, 1 Inner Fire makes it a 10 power boy with 10 toughness, 10 health rather. So that's the general idea of things. We've also got the unidentified elixirs and the power word shields to help increase the toughness of our creatures, the health, so that we can get a bigger minion. And the whole idea is to use Shadow Visions, find more the pieces that you need, or more Divine Spirits, and actually double up or triple up, create a huge minion and kill your opponent in 1 turn. So it's a deck that has to be, your opponent has to compete on board with you, because if they don't, they might just die out of nowhere. And Shadow Visions is one of the strongest cards in this deck for that reason. We also have a late game plan in Lyra the Sun Shard. If things go wrong, or if your opponent lets you have a Lyra on board, you can just start throwing spells out willy-nilly, and you might discover more copies of Divine Spirit or Inner Fire and these types of things. Other than that, the interesting part of this list that I haven't played with before is, rather than going for a dragon package, even though the dragon package is quite weak at the moment, it's got a pyromancer package in here, which has been seen in a lot of the control lists. So using pyromancer, acolyte of pain, circle of healing, and divine hymn as a way to clear the board, draw you some cards with the acolyte of pain, and just kind of set things up quite well. So I'm interested to try this one out in some way, shape, or form, rather than going for like Duskbreaker, Fairy Dragon, Scalebane, some kind of package like that. So anyway, that comes from Sibui94. Check them out on the Twitter. So let's see kind of what we've come up with from there. So this is the core, I think, of that combo priest. We've got the Inner Fire, the Divine Spirit, Powered Shield, Unidentified Elixir, all of our buffs. We've got Northshire Cleric as possibly the best 1-drop in the game, but definitely our best 1-drop. Rook lets us do some stuff in the early game, draw some cards, before we decide to start committing resources and trying to kill our opponent. Radiant Elemental makes our going off, our comboing, significantly easier. If we're playing 2, 3, 4 spells in a single turn, you get huge discounts. It's also just a great body. And Tar Creeper as a body that shores everything up, makes sure we don't get aggroed down, but also is a high toughness minion that we can hopefully combo off on. So pretty small core here of 14 cards. There is a rare in there. Oh, there isn't. I thought Unidentified Elixir was rare. It's even more budget. Phenomenal. So this is what I came up with for the final version of the deck. Obviously the main thing that we lose going budget is the Lyra. But we also lose the Shadow Visions, and that I think is even more important. So in order to compensate for that, I've included some Loot Hoarders to give us a bit more draw. Also, it gives us a bit more proactivity in the early game. But using that Loot Hoarder to hopefully cycle into our combo pieces. I've cut the Silence because we don't have the Shadow Visions. Instead, just playing some Spellbreakers. One of the big reasons to play a one-off Silence in the deck is that we can quickly just get it off of a Shadow Visions in a pinch. But we don't have that utility, so I've cut that there. I've kept in the Wild Pyromancer package, so it'll be great to see how that goes. And I've also kept the Injured Blade Master in here. The whole idea of Injured Blade Master is that it gives you something to heal, combos very well with Circle of Healing, huge high toughness minion that, 2 Divine Spirits and an Inner Fire, 28 damage. So we'll be looking to combo off on the Blade Master as well. And at the end, I've included Tortolan Shellraiser. I was umming and ahhing about these last 2 cards because I really wanted to include 2 Spellbreakers. Umming and ahhing about these Shellraisers, whether I wanted to instead go with like 1 Shellraiser, 1 Cobalt Scalebane, or does this deck have enough minions to make Fungal Mancer work? Should we play an extra 1-drop in order to capitalize on this Shadow Ascendant that's in here, which otherwise might be kind of weak? Or even, I was thinking of this Fell Soul Inquisitor because of the lifesteal. Could be a bit more relevant than the Tortolan Shellraiser's Death Rattle and the extra power. But I've gone with the Shellraiser. I'm not convinced on it. Could also be Lightspawn, but we'll see how we go, and maybe we can kind of analyze things in post and think of some better inclusions. So we'll jump into some games. All right. Here with the first team. This is pretty curious, actually. Part of me wants to keep this. The Injured Blade Master, I think, is a body that kind of competes quite well. And Shadow Ascendant could be very, very good if they're control. But another part of me wants to keep this. They combine well. The Pyromancer is going to trade with the majority of things, which is kind of what we want. Do need to draw some spells, though. I'm going to go with this one. I think this also hedges best between control and aggro, as it's both a way for us to compete on board and a way for us to capitalize on our opponent doing nothing. How's the audio, by the way? I've still been tinkering with things.
An incredible discovery.
If you are watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments.
Mind if I roll me?
See what they want to do with this loot hoarder. If they just want to ping here, we're fine with that.
Let the pain
Okay, so something a little different is going on. I think we're just gonna get this Acolyte Pain out. See if they want to commit a bit more into us. Not sure. Does the elemental version run Acolyte of Pain? Hey Candles, yeah, we're doing a budget inner fire priest today. If you missed the intro, I saw a tweet out from Sipui94 who mentioned they got top 10 on EU ladder with an inner fire priest build. So I've adapted that. And it's interesting that I may be confident on like 26 cards. This Pyromancer package is yet to be determined if it's the real deal. Okay. Well, we're set up pretty well. Got our got two pieces plus a elixir of purity. You know, Frost Nova? No. Interesting. Do we get to do a murder? That's the question. So this goes to buff something to 6, 12. No, we don't get to do a murder. We can just silence that Doomsayer though, which is pretty scrummy if you ask me.
Your magic shall not save you.
Do my bidding.
Barrier.
Not too quickly.
Can't say I'm terribly confident now, though. I guess it depends on which combination of board clears our opponent has. Like, Blizzard is actually kind of okay with these this Divine Hymn.
The end is coming!
I guess we can silence this one and Divine Hymn our team. So that at least...
I must consider.
Yes, at least if they slow roll, they're like they low roll a Dragon's Breath, we might be in a right position.
Your magic shall not save you. Not too quickly.
Yeah, he still died of Flame Strike though, so maybe we should have like coined an Elixir of Purity. Well, I definitely don't have the Flame Strike in that many cards. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18 plus plus 9. It's a lot of damage. Maybe we just want to play the Shell Razor. Like Shell Razor, Shadow Ascendant, and Bash.
Not too quickly.
Tortola, preserve us! You are the shadow doing my bidding!
Dark mage. Dark mage.
Glad we didn't go for it, because that Ice Barrier would have gotten us.
Reality woven.
Frost Nova.
Come dance to my song.
Well, at least these Shadow Ascendants are gonna tick away and make our opponent's life a little bit miserable. Unfortunately, this might be one of those games where we just get Frost Nova'd out. If we still had that Divine Hymn, it would have been pretty good here. We could have played the Pyro and done some junk. Do they want to kill this Shell Razor?
I hope you like my invention.
No.
must consider.
I'll try and make sure that we can hopefully have a couple of threats if they do have like flame strike. Yeah, we didn't want to put our a buff over here because they were definitely going to pull him off. The biggest thing, or the two biggest things. Kind of gold just in the deck. This Arcane Artificer has done some work.
Is someone injured?
Okay. I think I'm happy with that. I don't know how we're gonna win this game.
Come dance to my song.
If our opponent just has mono freezes and is starting to do their thing. Ugh! Of course. Ah, savage.
I wonder.
Don't think we need all the draws.
Move quickly.
We need to coin, right?
And it's too
Right away.
This is a weird one to navigate. Alright, so this is has 7 toughness, so we can go 7, 8, 9, 18, 36.
I must consider.
I guess we just hope they don't fatigue or something. I think that's about as much as we can do.
Move quickly.
Right away.
Yeah, about as much as we can do.
Tortola, preserve us.
All those ice barriers. Presumably our opponent has some some kind of combination in their hand.
This power is ecstasy.
I'm almost out of cards.
I mean, they do have their entire deck.
Almost out of cards.
Cards.
I hope your combo requires you to have 5 minion spaces. Well, that would be delicious. We'll say this is not an often, like, do not often have this feeling of like, please kill me with like, kill me with the thing, what thing are you doing, please do the thing. Fatigue.
Is someone injured?
I guess it does require 5 spaces.
You require my assistance?
Someday I'll be just like you. Someday I'll be just like you.
Aha!
Someday I'll be
It's
just
just one
like
of these.
Aha!
Love to get killed by fireballs from the top right hand of the screen.
Aha! Aha! Aha!
Hooray. Alright. Well, as frustrating as that was, it was really just the that Arcane Artificer, and they landed that with the Frost Nova. We just didn't have any immediate way to get rid of it. So maybe we should have just eaten one of those Doomsayers.
Anduin versus Valir.
Alright.
Watch your back.
The light shall bring victory.
Don't know how much I like Acolyte of Pain against Rogue. If it's odd Rogue, classic a hard deck. It's odd Rogue. The Acolyte could be okay, but yeah, let's try it. His hand is okay.
None will survive.
'Tis the odd Rogue. So, what are we okay losing? Probably the Loot Hoarder. Don't really want to lose this Radiant Elemental.
I roll need.
We'll see if they want to dagger this down. Trade some help. Fledgling. Okay. That's a card that is going to be hard for us to deal with. Yep.
Let the pain speak to me.
Our opponent made a very excellent play there. Any of the other 3-drops we'd be totally fine and dandy with, but this fledgling really pushes the issue. Circle of Healing.
Bring the pain. Job's done.
Yes, I. On the radio now.
This guy's toast.
Not poisonous. That'll be great. Okay. Well, we can certainly have a big ol' Acolyte of Pain. The biggest in the land.
I wonder. Quickly. Bring the pain.
Let's just hope they can't kill us from here. 5 plus 8 is 13, 14, 15. Leroy. Be 21. Be close. Not poisonous. Not poisonous. It'd be real great if you didn't get poisonous. Oh, Divine Shield. Not silence also.
Is someone injured?
So we need to rip the inner fire. There it is.
Quickly.
Bring the pain.
I think that's our best line rather than going face, because there's always a chance that they have like a silence for this, and then we're still in the situation where they have this huge thing, this huge beastie. Whereas this really needs, like, they have to, like, this way, even if they do have the silence or like the vile spine or something, we're kind of just, I don't know, not back to square one, but we're in a much more even position. Obviously they probably still have the better deck for the position. Okay, they've lost their mind, I think.
I guess.
Yeah, okay. That was real weird, like there's, you should definitely not be racing when your opponent has a 22 power lifelinker. Alright, we are back for the mirror.
Give me strength.
The light shall bring victory.
We must defeat ourselves to absorb our power.
Blessings to you.
Greetings.
Is someone injured?
Alright, we're piecing things together. I wonder if I do. These Shadow Ascendants I'm kind of curious about with the original list that we got from Sipui.
Let the pain.
As ideally we want to be going like, you know, 1-drop into Shadow Ascendant.
I wonder.
Don't particularly want to run too hard into a
Mind if I roll knee?
Right away.
a Duskbreaker. So
My bidding.
I think this is fine. Yep. That is where we wanted it.
I wonder. Your magic shall not save
Do my bidding.
Right away.
Scale Worm could be pretty bad here. If they don't have
What?
if they don't have anything good enough though, we do have a line for some big damage.
in a museum.
So we can buff this to 7, double it to 14, set it to 14. And our opponent's a turn off from Psychic Scream, so maybe we just want to go for it. Like, would they have played a Silence at any point before this? They could have Death. Guess that is something we want to avoid too.
Quickly.
I think our best line is actually to just go for it.
Right away.
We might have been pulling the trigger a bit too early there. But I think that the kind of options that our opponent might have are a lot more dangerous. They got the Silence. Yeah. Death. The kind of options that they have are a lot more dangerous to us in the long run than in the short run.
Is someone injured?
Murder!
So we don't want to die to Psychic Scream. By die, I mean
Do my bidding.
lose all of our resources. Do get the Harrison though, which is going to be a good one. Maybe we should have powered shielded the Shadow Ascendant so it doesn't die to Duskbreaker. Harrison.
Let the pain speak to me.
So they did have the Scream, but they had to like emergency Shadow Visions for a death. That one sucks.
Is someone injured?
They haven't even played any Divine Hymns or anything, which is a big out for them against being in this kind of situation. Yeah. I'm gonna take that loss there. I think we got it right that was the move that we needed to make. I think we were, as soon as our opponent gets to 7 mana, it's a bit down here. Bottom deck Pyro. Nah, it happens. Pyro was definitely just like the best draw throughout the whole entire thing. We eventually saw one. Just
I will fight with
yeah,
honor.
obviously those moments can be super frustrating when you just want to see that one card. And you never do. But whatever. I'm sure like we're gonna play a game. Like it might even have been this one. Where our opponent's on Odd Paladin and we get both our Pyros in quick succession.
Right away.
So this is curious. What is an opponent doing? Playing Paladin with a plated beetle in the deck.
I must consider.
Right away.
Could be OTK Paladin? Just use the coin, which is usually not where you would be if you were OTK. Though maybe they've
Right away.
recognized that we are possibly combo priest. Where was the original list for this? It was on Twitter. I'll get you a link. There you go. Links in chat.
Is someone injured?
You are the shadow's puppet.
Okay, looks like so they didn't get top 10 on EU with this, but they hit legend on NA with this list.
Right away.
What is this savagery? We're getting smashed. Mono consecrates and true silver champions.
Reporting for duty.
The light dims, but we fight.
Let the pain speak to me.
Actual call to arms. How is this possible? He's using odd and even cards to win. Very good.
Bring the pain.
Your magic shall not save you.
Job done. Reporting for duty. Ungoro belongs to the Titan.
Damn it, Sunkeeper Tarim. Damn it, Stonehill Defender. Ah!
You have best.
Ah! It's fine. It's fine. Can't even lose stars at this rank. Alright, we are back against Mage.
You asked for
We have
it.
fixed our deck.
Light shall bring victory.
We added the the Tar Creepers back in. Pyros' board clears seem pretty rough. Seem to be a weakness of the deck. That's definitely a possibility. Like in obviously we don't have access to
Is someone injured?
to shadow visions, and Pyro shadow visions, like just kind of churning, is definitely a strength of the card. Maybe we should. I think what I'll do is I'll have a. It'd be pretty good if this is tempo with a bad draw. I might include the Pyro package of like Circle of Healing, Pyro. Yeah, Circle of Healing and Pyro. Maybe Loot Hoarder. And then have a second package that has the Duskbreaker, Cobalt Scalebane, and Fairy Dragon. What did they reveal? Meteor. Okay. So you're going to get Meteored.
I wonder.
Right
I
away.
think we'll take the draw two here.
Do my bidding.
This might scare our opponent into coining something out. Yeah, I think having the option of playing a Duskbreaker package is might be pretty enticing to other people.
Out of my jungle.
Especially since both contain a rare. Like they're both pretty comparable in terms of resources.
Your turn to bleed!
You are the shadows. My bidding.
Not seeing the exact draws that we want to see though. This Divine Hymn might be able to get us some draws. A pity that these buffs landed on the... Yeah. A pity these buffs landed over here. Like, if they had landed on each other, they might have been more tempted to kill the Injured Blade Master. Now we're kind of stuck in a bit of a...
Let the pain
unfortunate position.
Do my bidding. My bidding.
turn to bleed!
And now we're going into the turn where they can have... well, they did coin, so... Dragon's Fury here. Not going to clear everything. If they still had the coin, this would be the danger turn where they can go like
You win.
Coin Blizzard. Nice. So we got the early pressure on. Didn't need any of the combo. It turns out you just play Aggro Priest and get it. Alright, so let's take a look at the deck. So obviously when we went through and did the initial deck highlight, we forgot the Tar Creepers. We had Tortolan Shell Raisers in there. So that kind of when I was saying like, oh, I'm not sure on those like 26, 28 cards. Those last ones are evading me. Of course, we were missing 2 of the core cards in the deck. So I do apologize. But I think some interesting things that we noted were we're kind of running out of gas pretty early. We were drawing some cards, but we really couldn't close the game I think some of that might be just due to not being able to get on board quick enough. And like, this is something that we need to do because we don't have the backup plan of things like Lyra. We don't have the redundancy of Shadow Visions. So it's something that we definitely need to work with. One of the other things that was brought up in chat is that the relying on Wild Pyromancer as the board clear is a bit rough. And especially without Shadow Visions and the one of silence in there, we can't exactly capitalize too much on Pyromancer. So as a way to kind of both fix the body problem and the this board clear issue, we might I might recommend a little bit of a change. So what we want to try and do is fit Duskbreaker in here. And we need some more dragons. So we can look at Cobalt Scalebane. Is a good one. It's a nice big body as well. The other one we consider is like Twilight Drake or Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon is a bit of a nombo because we can't put any buffs on it. So maybe instead we look at like Twilight Drake. Potentially cut like one of the Divine Hymns. The Divine Hymns go pretty well with the Northshire Clerics. Try and fit these Twilight Drakes in here. If we've cut the Circle of Healing, then we probably don't want the Injured Blade Master, and that's like a rare for a rare. So maybe something more like this. So we have still have a reasonable early game. Still got some proactive 2s. Still got some good options at 3 in the Acolyte and the Tar Creeper. Got a sweeper at 4 as a way for us to get back against the more aggressive decks. And then we have Twilight Drake and Scalebane as both dragons and potentially big toughness creatures. Totally consider Hoarding Dragon as well at instead of the Twilight Drake. Like, this thing's probably has more attack, and it's probably gonna have more health the majority of the time. There you go. But bit of a budget tip for your super budget people, like free to play. Just cut the Twilight Drake, play Hoarding Dragon. Anyway, thanks for hanging with me on this one. It's been a bit all over the place, but I think Inner Fire Priest is really strong, and you should definitely give it a shot. Shout outs to Sippewy94, and congratulations on hitting Legend and getting top 10 on the EU. Thank you for the list. You've inspired me quite a lot. So until the next one, you have a great day.